Welcome to Marketing from X to Z.
The podcast specifically created for small business owners who want practical marketing advice without the hype.
We're your hosts. This is Mike Albuquerque representing Gen X.
And this is Liz Bachman, our resident Gen Zer.
We're here to share honest insights, real-world experiences,
and tangible strategies to help your small business thrive.
Hey, Mike, do you want to start a podcast?
Let's do it.
Hey everyone, we're back for another episode. Liz, what are we talking about today?
Today we are talking about market research, and we kind of switched up our venue a little bit too, so it's going to be kind of fun.
A little bit more, we're in nature here, hanging out at the park, sitting in a gazebo. Beautiful day outside, so might as well, right?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so we want to talk about market research because it's one of those things that you need to do for your marketing strategy that gets skipped like all the time,
Yes.
right? Like all the time. So why?
Well, I think first off, there's a lot of assumptions that we make. We think we know our niche. We think we know our industry.
Yeah.
We think we know our customers. And when we're making a lot of assumptions, we're leaving opportunity on the table.
Yeah.
So I think market research helps us uncover how can we better serve our customers? How can our products or service better align with what they're looking for and with what could help them?
I also think that there's a little bit of like you need access to a bunch of data in order to get it done. And so that makes you think of like big budgets, big marketing budgets and things like that. And although there's definitely value to being able to, afford those types of reports and those types of studies, it doesn't mean you can't do it if you're not there yet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about some cool ways that you can start doing market research for your business, because it doesn't have to be a big scary thing.
No.
Right? We hear the word market research. Ooh, that sounds so fancy and big, but doesn't necessarily have to be.
So when you're trying to get started, what would you do to make it more accessible then?
So if you're getting started and you have no idea, you have never done it before, you have no idea how exactly to do it, my recommendation would be, number one, just start by piecemealing it.
Okay.
Take one step at a time.
Yeah.
You're trying to connect with your customers. You're trying to learn more about customers or prospects. And we're going to talk a little bit later about how that's going to vary between like where your business is and all that. But it can be simple. It can be as simple as an Instagram poll. It can be as simple as a questionnaire on your website. Just a way for you to connect and to start asking questions.
Yeah, that makes total sense. That makes total sense. There's a lot of low-cost tools that I've used for, it's not quite market research, but like industry research, which is a lot more accessible, especially when you're first getting started, that I really like. So.
So when we are talking about like some of those tools, right? What are some of your favorite ones that small business owners can use to do like some quick and easy market research?
So I do social media for a living, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of my stuff is going to lean internet and social media because that's my world.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a few cool things. So first of all, there are some trend reports that actually are not going to cost you a fortune. Pinterest has a super, super, super cool area. Now that's going to be better with your like business to consumer people, right? So like if you're selling directly to a customer rather than to B2B, that's going to be stronger for you because Pinterest is largely business to consumer, right? But TikTok produces them as well, and a couple of the other platforms, they give out annual reports that you can go in to their insights and see what people care about who are in your demographic or psychographic, what's coming up.
Right.
And so I think that's really cool. And they have Pinterest has forecasting options, which I think is like super neat because they don't charge you for it, and all the other things charge you for it. And then I also love checking adjacent industries. So a lot of times we get so caught up in like, I'm a flooring company, so I am only going to look at other flooring companies, and you're not going to get good market research that way about what your audience or your customer cares about, because your audience and customer doesn't only care about floors, they care about all these other things. So looking at what they like at adjacent industries could be a really good way to get insights about what's hitting for them.
That's a great point, especially because at a certain level, right, you're not necessarily the other flooring companies in this example. Might not be your competition. You might be competing for, the customer's dollar in like home improvements,
right?
Let's say. And so looking at other industries is definitely very relevant because you can uncover a lot of information there. I'm going to share. I'm going to go just the complete opposite of you and go super low tech with this.
It's very Gen X of you.
It is, of course. One of my favorite things to do is to integrate it as part of the local networking that I like doing. So I've done this in BNI chapters where I, walked in and as part of my 60-second pitch, I asked a question and just passed out a little piece of paper with the question typed out on it and had people enter it. And that was like just a quick and easy way of getting a room with like 20, 30 people or more to quickly partake in a piece of your market research.
No, that's fair. I think I've seen you do that.
Yes, I think you've answered it.
I have answered it. I have. And also when you're looking at frankly, the demographic of your audience as well, that might fit better for the people who are in that room than me trying to send out some sort of digital thing or reach them directly through a more fancy tech thing.
Yeah, exactly.
For the very professional terminology.
Absolutely. I mean, that's part of like, I made some assumptions there, right, in the room, but it's also, what was there an opportunity to do? So those are things also to be taken into consideration when you're doing market research, right? Are your customers more likely to fill out the piece of paper or answer your online poll? And it might not have to be an either or, right? You can do both. Nothing stopping you from
doing both.
From doing both. Absolutely.
So when you're creating these forms, right, what types of questions do you want to make sure are on there? Like, what do you want to make sure you ask?
So there's some of the basic ones, like, why did you choose this? Which is pretty broad. And you're going to get all sorts of different answers there. I mean, if you're getting things over and over, you definitely want to pay attention to. But why do you choose this is a good one because it opens up not only, insights into what connected with the business, but also like, was location a factor, was pricing a factor, like, just kind of helps you uncover a lot. I like the broader questions like that. If you're launching a new product or considering like re-examining a new product or service, just asking, what do you think, what do you wish was different about this product or service? That can, again, kind of bring you some ideas and insights into that. And one that I think is interesting is one that can almost sound a little bit negative, but it was what almost kept you from working with us.
Okay.
Because if there was a reason why someone thought twice about working with the business, but they still decided to do so anyways, that could be something that's stopping other folks from working with you. So,
oh no, that's definitely. When I was working with a business operations person at one point, he challenged me to ask the questions that maybe aren't going to give me the warm and fuzzies in the responses, but can really help grow my business. So that's that's definitely super important.
Absolutely. And it's one that I wish more businesses would ask because there's, I think there's a lot of growth opportunity in like those tough questions.
Yeah, because they're uncomfortable, so other people don't ask.
Exactly.
There's a reason for that.
So, okay, let's get into specific of some tools. Like, what are some ways that a business can test new marketing or product ideas without having to do like a lengthy survey or use expensive research tools?
Yeah. So, you know what I love about social media? It's basically its own market research tool all the time.
Yeah.
Right. So, for me, it's literally put something out there and then test your analytics, right? So on social, you can track whether or not something's resonating because if people are engaging with it, if they are liking, saving, sharing, that sort of thing, commenting, then you know that message is doing better. So tracking that engagement rate, there's always like, with social, unfortunately, there's always the question of reach because if your post is more engaging, typically it will reach more people, but also it's a little bit outside of your control. But paying attention to that engagement rate will tell you what messages are working and which ones are not. And then the other one is, because we've talked about on this podcast several times, email, your open rates and your click-through rates.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing more concrete than a dropped open rate to tell you that the message you sent out was wrong.
Yeah.
So like it's definitely I like just looking at the numbers.
Mm-hmm. And depending on the email tool you're using, you can A/B test them to see, which message is going to resonate more. And that's a form of market research right there. Even if the content of the email is the same, just trying different subject lines.
Can you get them to open it?
Yeah. Or if you send the same subject line, what gets them to click on it? So changing, the call to action, or so different things to test.
Yeah.
I think an affordable way is just to go into the people that you trust, either strategic partners, people who know your business well, who are involved with it in a certain way, and having like a brainstorming session. I mean, we've done this a lot, right, on different products that we both launch. I mean, we sit down, we call each other and just talk through it. That's a great way of just getting insight that's not coming directly from your own brain, right? Or also old clients, like people who have been with you for a while.
Yeah.
They're typically, if you have a client who's been with you for a little bit, you typically have a sort of relationship established and trust. And I remember, okay, I'm going to share a story here.
Okay.
My mom got invited once to do market research at a supermarket where she had been going to her her whole adult life, basically. Since I'm married with my dad, so before I was born.
Okay.
And she felt so special being invited for that. She dressed up and went in and it was a whole thing.
Sweet.
This just popped in. I was not planning on sharing this, but it was like she just felt so special for being a part of like this massive chain's research into how they can better serve their customers, what products they were looking for, and all that. So don't think that you're inconveniencing people if you're asking them to be a part of your market research. Or I think more likely than not, they're just going to be glad that you're even asking them. It means that they matter to you.
Yeah, that's what immediately popped in my head was they cared enough to ask.
Yeah.
Like they cared enough about her experience to ask her about it. And that's, yeah, because I do like, am I going to be annoying people? Probably not.
Yeah.
And the people you are, they're just not going to answer. Like, it's really that.
Exactly. And that's something I think is like recurring that you get in marketing, where we think that like the things we're doing are just annoying people. Wonder it's not really, right? Because if you care about something, that's not annoying someone. That's just, that's relationship.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. That took us off a little bit of a tangent there.
That's okay, huh?
But why don't we get into how to turn insights into actionable decisions?
So for me and mine, like, and my like content marketing, again, it's very much, there's a low barrier to test when it comes to social, and even when it comes to email, to like give something a try. And in some ways you're given a lot of tools to do it, right? So you mentioned like A/B testing that is available through email software, and that's a big deal. But then like Instagram just rolled out trial reels.
Yeah.
So
For some, not for others.
Yeah, for some, not for others. Because anytime Instagram rolls out a new feature, it's pretty typically tiered, and they've been rolling this out for like a year now. I only got it a couple of weeks ago. But so I'm a little bit excited about it, and we're shooting this in September, so maybe I would have more concrete later. But what I have been doing is I have actually been publishing the same video with different hooks to test which format of hook performs better for my audience and drives more engagement. And that's done in a way that can't annoy my audience, because people who don't follow me don't see it. So it gives you a lot of like freedom and flexibility to test different ideas. So that's one option. And then you've also got, let's see. And then you can also share, the other thing is stories, because stories are temporary. So there's a lot less pressure on content when it's short term.
That's a good point. Yeah. It doesn't feel like it's as high stakes, but I mean, they can have a big impact on platforms. That makes sense. I think, if I'm looking at, you've done the market research, right? Or if you've started connecting with customers and asking some of those questions, and you're hearing a certain trend, even if it's not, and I would qualify a trend by saying it doesn't have to be the majority of your customers are saying something, but if there's a percentage of them that are saying something enough, you need to address it in your marketing, communicate them, set your threshold. It might be that if a quarter of your customers is saying, hey, I don't get this product, then you might have to, figure out if you want to communicate about that product a little bit differently, or, clarify things. But don't think that just because it's not the majority, it shouldn't be addressed.
Right. And that's also true for your ops. Like this podcast is focused on marketing, but that is true for your operations as well.
Yeah.
Because that's a big deal.
Yeah. And make people feel heard, and, feeling like you're bought into their experience.
Yeah.
Are we going to talk about tools now?
Yeah, we could talk about tools. I have a lot of like little things that I like to do from an internet base instead of necessarily. I mean, who would have guessed the social media girl likes the internet? But I mean, for me, obviously, you can send surveys, that sort of deal. Let them keep it at, look at the English, Elizabeth. Look at the words actually written in your Google reviews, because that is your customers giving you feedback in the language and like in the most open format way that you can.
That's true.
On your products. You can look at the trends reports that I mentioned earlier. Reddit is super underutilized for market research, like, because it's forum based, not social based. So people aren't exactly worried about what people they know are going to think about what they share, which is a good thing and a bad thing. But it does open up a lot of opportunity for people asking questions about your industry and asking questions about different businesses and that sort of thing that you can grow from and learn from. And Quora is very similar in that manner. Reddit's more so.
Yeah.
But those are both tools that I use on a regular basis. And then one little hack that I learned along like a couple years ago was the Google's People Also Ask.
That's right.
So you type in a keyword associated with your industry or like your service, and then as you scroll down, there'll be these drop downs that it says people also ask, and it has other prompting questions. Well, if you click on that and then click it back up, it'll give you more questions. So you can use that to build out what people are asking about your industry as a form of industry/market research.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, and that's got its own value as well into like SEO research and other things. I mean, if you understand the way that people are communicating, I think that just takes your marketing to the next level.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, for me, there's a tool which ties to Reddit and ties to Quora and things that answer questions, which is ChatGPT. I had to fit it in here.
Well, yeah, of course.
But my advice is don't overuse it. It's a great tool, but you're getting the same information everyone else is.
Right.
I mean, you can prime it and do other things to just try to be more specific and get what you want out of it, but it's not the same as asking your actual customers.
No.
So talk to real customers, ask them the questions that you want to know that'll help you move forward. You can do a short email poll. If you're doing something on the website, my favorite thing is there are tools that can offer conditional logic, meaning that if you ask a question and they answer, let's say A, B, C, or D, the next question is going to be a follow-up based on what they asked before. So it just opens the window to possibilities so that you can go deeper on a certain question based on what their answer was. So let's say that I go in and ask, how did you find this? And people can say, oh, in person or internet. Let's say that those are the two answers, right?
Okay.
Someone chooses internet, it's like a new a new question pops up. Facebook or social media or website or Google or what, and based on that answer, then you get another one. So you can keep diving deeper and deeper into the questions there.
I love that. Yeah, that's a great idea.
And that way you're not like having everyone have to skip through a bunch of questions that are not relevant to them. You can do that on your website, or there's other tools out there.
Yeah.
You can do it as well.
I love that. Yeah, it's very interesting because there's like different levels of market research that you can do with all these different tools, right? Like, because one of the things that I know that people get nervous about is like they feel like if they don't have a high enough volume of customers or something like that, that it gets really hard to ask questions. I know this because I ran into the same thing when I was first starting, because mine's not really a volume-based business. There's fewer for hopefully for longer type of deal. And so I didn't do the market research that I probably could have, because I was like, well, I don't have the questions. Like I don't have the bank to pull out of.
Yeah.
And using stuff like ChatGPT, but not overusing it, using it stuff like Reddit and social media and A/B testing, like it gives you so many more options where you kind of start where you are. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does, absolutely. Because there's a lot of businesses that are going to be either in that spot where they're just getting started, or they're not high volume enough.
Yeah.
I mean, I think B2B is pretty common. I had like a couple customers for the first year. I was just more involved
Yeah.
customers, but you can also interview potential leads or ideal customers that are not your customers and just talk to them about, their experience with their current provider
Yeah.
as well. And that can be an end to getting some insights.
So I actually did something kind of, this just crossed my mind. So when I first started, and I didn't have any market research. And so about 6 months in or something like that, what I did was I ran a Facebook ad,
Uh-huh.
and my audience at the time was just authors. That's no longer the case, but my audience at the time was just authors. And I ran a Facebook ad targeting authors, offering them 30 minutes of free social media consulting in exchange for them giving me 30 minutes of their time to interview them and walk through their questions.
Yeah.
And that's how I initially built out a lot of my market research. And what's kind of funny is a lot of the stuff that's on my website today that I have not updated for the language because it's still authors. That stuff gets like, it ranks at the top of Google for things and stuff like that. And it still works because I bothered to do that. And I didn't have a big reach. So I think I spent like $25 boosting that post.
Oh, wow.
Or something. Like, it wasn't like a big, because I was broke.
Great ROI for it.
Broke. So it's, it was a lot of my time that got put into it because I was giving a lot of free consulting.
Yeah.
But the information I got back about that particular audience and what they cared about is still driving leads to my business 4 years later.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
I don't know, just a little thing. I totally forgot to even think about that. But
It paid off. Yeah. And I see the SEO. It's like, oh, you're ranking for this still. Okay.
why is that still there?
All right. So let's talk about frequency. And, if a business is looking to get into market research, how often do you think they should be doing?
So my answer is going to be a little more annoying, I think, than a lot of people's answers. Because like, as an agency, we look at market research, at least the internet variation that I've been talking about, every single time we run analytics reports, because we use it in the content planning for the next month.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily realistic for most business owners, per se, because you're running a business and not just doing this as a service.
Yeah.
But at least on a quarterly basis, when you're looking at it from a social perspective, not like your overarching rework all of your messaging type of deal, because you don't want to change that often. Nothing's going to stay long enough to stick. But when you're looking at the almost like the sub messaging, like, because you've got like the big thing, right? And then you've got the other pieces off of it. Those other pieces should get evaluated more frequently because they're not as solid, I guess.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah. And I think that's going to vary, just kind of based on what kind of business it is.
yeah, that's true.
Right? Is it product? Is it service? Is it high volume, low volume? All of that's going to play a role. So there's not a definite answer. We're sorry.
It depends.
It depends. Because it depends on, what part of your marketing it is. I mean, I think when we're talking about overall messaging and positioning and all that, we should at the very least yearly be considering it and, doing some piecemeal things just to make sure that you are still on the right track, the things that you're doing are resonating. I can give an example for my business. Things have shifted a lot since AI has been more present in our life this year, where a lot of businesses are feeling the squeeze when it comes to being found online. So SEO has come more into the forefront of what businesses want, right? And we've talked a little bit about how, I've reshuffled some of my offerings, and that's based on, just kind of what I'm hearing from customers and from leads and there's more this focus on things. And as a business owner, you just got to be aware of what is happening in your environment, and no better way to do that than to talk to your customers.
Yeah.
That's true. So that's, if it depends, but at least overall, look at it yearly.
Well, I'm going to add another little caveat on there, which is whenever you roll out a new product or service.
Yes.
Because rolling out a new product or service because you think it will be cool is something we do all the time.
Yeah.
But it's way better to spend the time to make sure your customer also thinks it would be cool before you build it all the way out and do all the things with it.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly. Yeah. I mean, I think we've all seen that. I know,
Got
yeah,
what
we've all
seen it, done it.
seen it. Yeah, myself.
Yeah.
Um,
Because like this shiny object, we like to build new things a lot of times as business owners. So, but making sure it's a fit to our clients. Like you did something very similar when you did a BNI presentation, and you asked people to fill out interest forms for an offer that you were going to roll.
yeah,
And if you didn't get above a certain threshold, you just weren't going to bother building it out. But in order to get us to potentially show interest, you drop the price as an incentive for us to say whether, like, put our stake in the sand as to whether or not we would like to do it.
exactly.
So that's what I mean by that. Is like you've done a really good example of it.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Now I got to build the thing.
Yeah, now you got to build the thing. But that's fun because they did like it.
So we got a little bit into mistakes, but what are some of the common mistakes that you see when people are trying to do their own market research that they're doing?
Well,
And I can go first if you.
yeah, you go first.
Because I got like it's pretty basic and pretty generic. Asking the wrong question. And what I mean, or not asking the wrong question. Asking the wrong question is a mistake, but asking the question the wrong way. You don't want to lead people into an answer.
Right.
Did you like this? Or why did you like this? Or why is this a good solution for you? Don't lead people. Like think back of like, the TV shows with attorneys and judges. You're leading the witness. Don't lead the witness. Ask questions that are broad enough to where people feel comfort in giving you a genuine answer.
Yeah. Now it's also and the other piece of that is did you like this is a yes or no question. That's not helpful.
Yeah.
What did you like about this? What did you not like about this is much more leaves room for the rest of the context, which is actually where the meat of the answer is.
Yeah, exactly.
Because things are very, very rarely black and white, yes and no. Like it's generally in the gray space, right? So making sure that things are open-ended enough that people feel comfortable, like starting to type into your form or starting to talk to you, because the actual answer comes once they get comfortable, as you mentioned. And typically they have to start talking for a little bit before they get comfortable, or start writing for a bit before they get comfortable. So giving them the space to do that, I think is really important.
And considering if, your questions are going to be anonymous, or if you're asking people to enter information. I mean, obviously there's great insight if you know which customer is filling that out, but there's a different comfort level if they're not putting their name down and they can be just more frank.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, here's another piece though, and this is totally separate from this. There's really low-hanging fruit when it comes to figuring out what your client cares about, and that's buried in the questions they ask you, not just in the responses they give to your questions. The number of business owners that I talk to that I say, hey, so do you know what your customers want to know about your business? They start kind of rattling things off, but they don't keep track of like a standardized FAQ sheet and stuff like that. It's just really low-hanging fruit to improve your overall positioning and messaging.
Absolutely, yeah.
So so it's more of a please don't skip that, because it doesn't cost anything and it's just paying attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one. So I think we're going to start to wrap it up here, folks.
Yep.
So let's go into like a method or tactic that people can start doing right after this episode.
The people also ask on the Google thing. It's super easy. You could do it on your phone if you're listening on your phone. You can do it on your computer. Like it's one of those like super easy things to just give it a try and see what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Quick win.
Mine is going to be that, if you're feeling awkward about starting to do your market research and talking to your customers, you can incentivize them. I mean, you just talked about a great way that you did that, where, you put out the 30-minute offer in exchange for 30 minutes of their time for questions. You can have a giveaway, either a freebie or a gift card or even a discount on a product or service that you offer. There's different ways that you can exchange your customers' time for, value or financial incentive.
That makes sense. What about, okay, so typically we do a quick win, and then we do what's one thing that we want people to remember?
one thing that I want people to remember, I think just it doesn't have to be this big thing, right? Market research doesn't have to be something that's hanging over your head like, oh, goodness, I don't know where to start or what to do. Start small, one step at a time. Throw up an Instagram poll or something, send an email survey, just pick one thing to do and get started there, because I think even from that first piece, you're going to get some great insights and you're going to feel more comfortable because doing it second time because you've done it the first time, and now you get to move on.
So mine is you can do this even if you don't have a large customer pool to draw from. Like talking to your direct clients is the like gold standard. That's awesome. That's amazing. But you can use a combination of internet resources and the people that you have to start going even before you're at a volume where you have like a good data pool from your customers themselves. So like you don't have to wait to be at a certain place before you start doing it. And that's kind of my point there.
I like that. Yeah, that's great. And so let's wrap this up with one last one.
Mhm.
What's one question that small business owners should regularly ask themselves to ensure they're staying connected to their audience in terms of like needs and what they're actually looking for?
So for me, it's how am I collecting the data from my current customers or audience? Like what method is in place? Kind of like the FAQ thing I mentioned. Like like how am I doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say question everything. Are you question everything? Why am I in business? No.
We'll talk
Question
about your existential crisis later.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's next episode.
No, it's not.
But just question if you're making any assumptions. Are there assumptions that you're making when it comes to your customers or to your products or even the way that you present your products?
Yeah.
Or are you making those decisions based on insights? Because that's what you should be doing.
Yeah. Don't let your feelings get in the way. Yeah.
Don't let your feelings get in the way. And with that, this is a wrap. So that's episode 12. We're going to be talking about word of mouth referrals next episode. So stay tuned.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll be here at the park again. Take care, everyone.